really quickly show you a tip to help you organize your students. I know it may feel overwhelming when you have 70 to 80 students to plan for with their IEPs and to keep track of progress monitoring data and to communicate with the instructional teacher. So here's a tip that might be helpful for you to use. Is to create a OneNote folder. And I know a lot of you are familiar with OneNote, but if you aren't, it's fabulous and it's a great way to stay organized. And now with SharePoint, we can create everything so that it's done online. So how to create a new notebook, you just go to the Special Education Home tab or wherever you want to save that notebook. So if you prefer to do it with your school level, for example, if you're a middle school teacher and you want to save that notebook in the middle school folder, that's fine. You can just go to your school and save it there. But you're going to go into the Documents tab on whatever page you're saving it. Click on Documents. And this is all in SharePoint. And then you're going to click New. And it's going to give you all these options on a new file to create. So you're going to select OneNote Notebook. And you're going to have a notebook name to create. So you can name it whatever you want, 2016-17 Moody IEP Facilitator. Say that's what you want it to be named. I'd suggest you putting your name on there somewhere so that if your lead does need to access it or the instructional teacher is working with you and more than one notebook is there, they know which one is yours. So your notebook's going to come up here. Now this is the one online version. So it's a lot easier to edit it when you're not online. A lot of the features are a lot easier to use. So to edit it offline, you click here, Edit in OneNote. And it's going to give you this option, Launch Application. If you're having trouble launching it, the best thing to do is to try a different browser. I had trouble with Internet Explorer, but when I used Google Chrome, it did work. So I would suggest trying a different browser if you don't get that Launch Application option. So here's your notebook that comes up, and if you aren't familiar with Notebook, you can, or with OneNote, you can consider it kind of like a 3-ring binder, and inside are all your tab dividers. So you can have as many sections up here as you want. Think of these as like your tab dividers. So what you can do, like for example, say I wanted a table of contents. I could name my table of contents here. Within this tab, I can create a bunch of pages too by clicking this plus sign, Add Page. So here's your tabs. Again, think of these as like your tab dividers. So say I wanted to have one for every student that I'm working with. And this is what I would suggest doing. Again, it's up to you how you want to organize. But I would have the student's first name and last initial. And I would put all the students, all my 70 to 80 students with a different tab on top. So that was my another student. I would just go across and do all my tabs. It's going to automatically change colors. Once you get to a certain point, they won't show up at the top anymore, and then there'll just be like a drop-down arrow that shows all of them. You can rearrange your tabs by just clicking and dragging them if they're not in the order you want. So once you're in that, again, once you're in whatever tab that you want, you can create as many pages within that individual tab. So for example, for Maggie M, say I talked with mom on the phone. I could have phone call 5/19/16. If I was talking to mom or the learning coach and I wanted to take notes, mom has concerns regarding her her ELA Class Connect Co-Talk class. And then I could just go on and keep notes about that phone call, and I could transfer that to Infinite Campus. Or if it was just something I wanted to make sure that the instructional teacher was wanted to be aware of, to make sure when we were meeting that we remember to talk about that, you can add that in here. What's another great feature, again, you can add as many pages as you want. So another great feature is you can attach files. So say you're progress monitoring and you wanted to attach a writing sample. You can go up here to Insert, File Attachment, and then you can find whatever file attachment that you want to attach. You can attach it as a file where it's just going to show up like this, and when you double click on it, it will open. Or you can insert and attach it as a printout. Say I wanted that. If I insert it as the printout, you can see it's going to take a second to load. The attachment will still be there, so if they want to save that document, they can. but then you can actually see that work sample or whatever attachment you're using. So I think it's helpful to do the printout because then you can actually see what's there instead of having to physically open it. But it will automatically include that document as well, so you can't open it if the other teacher working with that student did want to see that, or if it was a medical form, or anything that you were saving that you wanted to be sure someone else could access. So that's 2 ways that you can do that. Another thing, you can also insert printouts, you can insert pictures, scanned images, you can insert links. If the student is reading, you can insert audios. There's page templates, so you can play around with this, to-do lists and that kind of things. A bunch of different page templates are built in, so you just click on it and you can see, checklists. You can create, maybe if you know progress monitoring has to be done on certain days, you can create a to-do list. So you can play around with those page templates. Again, you don't have to use those, but it's just an option so that you know that's there. Anything you save, as you know, we're working in the offline version, but when you save it in the offline, if you're in the offline version, it will automatically update online. So you can see here, I can go back and continue editing in OneNote online, and you can see all the changes we made offline are here. Another really cool feature, this is why I would suggest doing a table of contents, is you can link pages. So you can link anything. You can link it to within this notebook or to a different notebook. So I would put all my students' names up top. And what you do is if you highlight their name, right-click on their name, and click link, all of your folders that you've created will be there. So if you want to link this to a totally different OneNote folder, you can do that, or you can link it to that actual tab within the same notebook. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to link it to that student's actual tab. So what this means is I'm going to click on Maggie's name, I'm going to click OK, and you can see here it's highlighted blue. So say I wanted Braden's to be linked. I'm going to highlight it, right-click, link, find the notebook, click on where I want it linked, and it's going to link. The cool feature about that is once you have 70 to 80 kids, again, there's not enough room for it to show all the way across the top. So the person that you're working with can easily go to that table of contents, click on that student's name, and be taken directly to that student's folder or to whatever, whether it's resources that you have, any tab that you have created. They can click directly on that and be taken directly to that tab that you've linked it to. Or if you're linking it to a whole nother notebook, they can go be linked directly to that notebook. So that's a really cool feature. Again, I think the table of contents is helpful for that feature since, like I said, once you do have 70 to 80 names on here, that can really pop up. Now, if you do have other notebooks, you can click the drop down and see all of your other notebooks on there as well, and you can edit those. There's a lot of cool features, but those are the main ones I wanted to start you with in the beginning. The only other great feature, now that students will be K-mailing us, or not K-mailing us, they'll be emailing us to our GA Cyber. As of now, Mary said there's no way for us to link OneNote using Office 365. So if we open up GA Cyber in Office 365, as of now, there's no way to link those emails to a OneNote folder. But if you're using your desktop, you can. So the great thing about it, this is a great way to stay compliant. So you've set up your notebook, you have a tab for all of your students. So when a student emails you, or if they email the instructional teacher, any student, any email you can save to the OneNote folder. And this is going to be important because a lot of our emails for GA Cyber are going to be automatically sent to a delete folder, and we'll still have access for a certain amount of time, but they're working around the kinks on how long that will be. So this is just a great way to stay compliant. Since we don't have K-mail where it automatically goes to that archive and we can search, this is a great way to stay compliant. So say this was an email from Maggie, and this was an email from the mom, I wanted to send it to her folder. So you can open up the email, and then across the top, you're going to see this OneNote option. Again, all of your folders, all of your notebooks are going to come up. Your most recent areas will show up here. Or you can just click on your notebook. Say this was an email from Maggie's mom. I would click that, and you can see that email is automatically going to be added there. And if there's any attachments with that email, that will be here as well. So if they do email you a work sample, that's going to automatically be included. So that's another great feature. If you wanted to edit what this was titled, you may say you wanted to, label it email and the date, you can change it that way. So however you want to word it, you can edit it. And if you double click on these, you can always edit your tabs as well. If you right click, you can rename or delete. But again, it's a great feature, and I think it's a great way to stay organized. If you have any questions or want more further training in OneNote, just reach out to me, bmoody@k12.com, and I'll be happy to help you.